So have you ever thought after receiving some sort of lead, right? Whether it's a Facebook lead, maybe some PPC lead, online lead, or even maybe someone you met in person, right? Like, have you ever thought like, what a shitty lead, right? Like maybe they just didn't convert as well as you thought, or they just haven't been responding and you kind of get frustrated, right? Because you thought there was going to be a great lead. You thought they're going to go buy or sell a house with you. And for whatever reason, it's just not playing out like that. Well, I know I've been in that situation a million times. And here's the thing you got to remember, guys, right? Leads are people, right? And when we're talking about real estate, we're talking about possibly one of the biggest transactions of someone's life. So in this video, I wanted to talk about why so many agents have the wrong mentality when it comes to leads and nurturing leads, and give you guys some tips about what you can actually do to actually not only progress the relationship, but eventually turn them into a client to someone that's willing to buy or sell. What's going on, guys? My name's Lior, and I'm a team leader with Compass out of Boston. And as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about why you may have the wrong mindset with leads in this video. Now, before I get into it, if you guys are a new agent or if you're an existing agent around the greater Boston area, and you've been either looking for a change or looking for a new team or brokerage, I get so many reach outs from you guys watching my videos, and it's absolutely amazing. So if you're thinking about having any sort of switch, if you're looking to grow your business in a new environment, hit me up and we can definitely talk about it. So let's get right into it, and let's start by talking about the lead, right? Let's say a lead comes in, whether it's Facebook or whatever the other examples I mentioned before, right? You have to remember that real estate is not something that people just kind of do like this, right? It's not like an instantaneous decision. It's typically involves a whole lot of moving things, right? With family, with living situations, with jobs, right? So if we're gonna go in with the mindset that, hey, this lead said he's gonna buy in the next 30 to 60 days and it doesn't happen, that they're just trash or lying, whatever, that's a really, really bad attitude to have, right? Because we have to remember that there's so many things that have to align perfectly for someone to go out there and start to either sell their home or start to look to buy a home. So before I give you guys a couple of tips of what's the best way to actually work these leads and really implement strategies to help you create relationships, I'll say this. I've had a number of leads, right, that I've actually ended up nurturing between 1 to 2 years, not months, years, right? And, sometimes they would have said earlier in the process, a couple of them said, oh, I'm ready to buy. Then a few things fell apart. I continued to stay in touch. I continued to be a resource for them. And they ended up being some of my best clients. A number of them have actually bought and sold multiple properties with me. So you gotta be able to play the long term with leads, right? And not just focus about, well, I need to convert it today. I need to turn this into business today. Otherwise they're trash, right? That's definitely gonna be your biggest, that's gonna be your biggest thing that's gonna sink you in this business. You gotta be able to play the long-term game with leads and people. So with that being said, let's talk about how you can actually nurture a lead, right? Because here's what leads or people, right? Because remember, they're people. Here's what they don't want to hear is they don't want to hear an agent calling them up every month or two and saying, hey, Mr. Smith, are you ready to buy? Are you ready to sell, right? That gets super annoying, right? Because you're probably catching them you might be catching them at a bad time. Maybe they're stressed out about something else, and you kind of just hovering around them, asking them if they're ready to buy or sell. It's just not really the way you want to build this relationship with them, right? So what I typically opt to do is I try to find more interesting ways to touch base with them, right? And what I'll do sometimes is I'll hit them up and I'll say, hey, the market's been doing good, or the market hasn't been doing that well. Here's some of the percentages you should just keep in the back of your mind. I know you're not looking to do anything today, but just keep that in the back of your mind because I know you were thinking about doing something in the future, right? So that's certainly one way of doing it. I also like to integrate a lot of non-real estate content, right? Because let's be honest, if you're maybe a year away from buying or selling, you don't really care what's going on today, right? Like you kind of do, but it's so far away, it's not even really reality for you. So if you could integrate non-real estate content, whether it's like lifestyle events, things happening in the town or city, or just like holidays, whatever it is, right? If you can figure out a way to integrate more fun stuff, maybe your passions, that's another one I forgot to say. But if you could integrate that stuff right? And really put that as more like personality driven, something that's not always focused on real estate, you're gonna have a much better chance of creating a more meaningful relationship with that person, right? So that when it does come time to sell and you do ask them, hey, are you ready to go buy? It'll be a much more natural yes, right? Because you've already been in touch, you've already been creating a relationship about something else. And I think this actually leads into a really important concept about leads in general, right? I think a lot of agents kind of have this wrong mindset that it's all about lead conversion, right? They view it as like this very like manual process, right? Where it's, oh, I gotta convert this lead, otherwise it's trash. And I think we forget a lot of times that behind these leads are real people, right? And I know I've already mentioned this a couple of times. Your goal is not necessarily to convert the lead, but you really should opt for that relationship, right? Because I know I've said that word a few times, but you really want to build a relationship because that's ultimately what's going to convert that client for you. Is if you have an amazing relationship with someone you've been in touch with, whether it's been 2 months, a year and a half, whatever it is, right? If you have something real there and you got, and they like you and they trust you and you like them as well, it makes it much easier for you guys to establish a business relationship as well. So if you offer that relationship rather than going for that kill every single time, right? And really treat that lead as a person, because they are a person, you're gonna have a lot more success in ultimately converting these leads into clients, and not only clients for one transaction, but multiple transactions, and get referrals from them, because that's the power of relationships. So if you take anything away from this video, remember that, change that mindset from lead conversion into relationship building, and it should help your results a ton. So if you guys have any questions, any comments, shoot them below and I will help you out.